Guys, don't be mad. I forgot my mic, and to make matters worse, I'm in a location that's very echoey. But honestly, it's the quietest place I've found to be able to work. So that's why you might have noticed that the last couple weeks, the videos have been in this mostly empty apartment. But hopefully all will be forgiven once you watch the conversation that I had with Nicole Liloia today on the channel. And I really think you're gonna like this conversation. We talked about some of the things that we talk about on the channel all the time, but I think we were able to kind of distill them down a little bit more. So we talked about money blocks and limiting money beliefs. We talked about the income ceiling that a lot of us have. And spoiler alert, so in the conversation, Nicole suggests that every social worker should aim to make at least $100,000. And you're gonna hear why she thinks that and what she has as the formula for social workers and anyone to be able to do that, anyone who's in business for themselves. And so here's the thing. I was so, fired up and inspired by this conversation that it inspired me to do something I have not done in a very long time. So make sure you stay until the end because I have a very unique announcement for you. But without further ado, here's my conversation with Nicole. Hi, Nicole, and welcome so much to the channel.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
So I was really excited to connect with you. And to be honest, I don't exactly remember how I found you, but I've been on this entrepreneurial journey for a while now. And when I first started the journey, I was fascinated whenever I would find a social worker, someone, whether or not they identified as a social worker, but if they had like LMSW or MSW or LCSW behind their name, and yet they were online doing all the things. So like all the things that I was learning about, like they had their headlines right, and they had their messaging, clear messaging, and they had their profile pictures up, and they had their sequence of buying, that buying process in place. I was just like, wow, I want to be like that. Like there are social workers who are doing that. So I do remember when I found your stuff, feeling like, oh, she's got it all together. She's got this thing figured out. So I was really excited to reach out to you and that you accepted this invitation. And I also, so when I was doing some research on you too, I saw that you had done some work on your money mindset, which is kind of what got me started with this as well. So can we start there and just talk a little bit about, how you got on this journey from clinical social worker to where you are now in business and what you do, and how that money mindset piece came in.
Yeah, absolutely. So right after grad school, I got my master's in social work at Columbia. I worked for 3 years in a nonprofit agency. And I just got so burnt out. I was racking up those clinical hours that we need, if we ever want to have a private practice or anything like that, or for the next step for the clinical license, and just got very burnt out. So after that, I took some time off to travel and volunteer in South America. And when I got back, I was like, oh my God, I can't do another 9 to 5. I'm so lazy. Like, I must be lazy. Something's wrong with me. Like, I hated that setup. So essentially, I ended up getting a few contracting jobs and piecing stuff together, a part-time job for health insurance. And, I realized I wasn't lazy. I just liked a different work style. And a few years later, I decided to start a private practice. And as I started the private practice, I realized I was kind of recreating that 9 to 5 for myself again, where I had to see a certain amount of clients per week. And if someone was out, or if there was bad weather, or if I wanted a vacation, like I wouldn't make any money, and I'd have to see the clients, typically at the same time every week. Right. So it just got a little bit crazy crazy in terms of that, and stressful. So I also started taking online business courses and realized that there were so many other ways to make money. But even though I saw other people doing that, I didn't believe that I could do that as a social worker. You know, we had gone to school as social workers, and we often learn that we're told we're not going to make any money, you know, that there's no money in social work. And, you know, and you start to believe that if you want money, you're a bad person. You can't help people and make money at the same time. So basically, you know, I started doing some of that work, and essentially I found someone who talked solely about money mindset, Denise Duffield Thomas, and I just started exploring it. And I learned that, you know, that naturally as a social worker, we develop money blocks where, you know, we don't believe we can make a certain amount of money. We don't believe we could hit our goals. We don't believe we deserve to make a certain amount of money. So I definitely, at least by realizing that that was a block, that was a mindset belief that wasn't really true, I was able to start working on it and clearing them up so that I could actually experience wealth and abundance, you know, in my life.
So what were some of the money blocks? I'm really interested to hear, like, that came up for you.
Yeah. So specifically for me, I didn't believe I could make a lot of money because I believed that if I was making money, I wasn't helping people, you know, and that came from social work school and things like that, where they really reinforced the belief that that if you're making money, you're bad, kind of thing. I also just had money blocks around the level of money I can make, even when I was, making money for myself, because I believed that, $50,000 would be a lot of money to make as a social worker. So I kind of got stuck around making money around that. It's called an income ceiling, because that's what I believe was like a lot of money at the time for a social worker.
Yeah. So I'm curious, what do you believe is a lot of money now?
I think that's a good question. I've never thought about that before. I definitely think there's a lot of stuff in the news right now about billionaires and stuff like that. So I definitely feel like a billionaire is a lot of money, you know.
Maybe a better question is, what is a realistic amount of money that a social worker can expect to make or can set their sights on? Yeah. And when I say realistic, I think the connotation from a traditional social work perspective is realistic. Mm-hmm. Means like that 50,000, maybe 65,000 is realistic. But I'm asking you, as what's possible? What can a social worker dream of making?
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, even for social workers who are focused on one-to-one clients in their practice, depending what they're charging, if they're charging cash pay, or even honestly, you'd be surprised, some insurances, depending where you live, pay over $100. You can easily make six figures in your business. I think we just don't even think about that or think that's possible. Or we feel like automatically it's going to be like agency work where we have to see 1 million clients, where they keep forcing us to see 1 million clients for $50,000 a year. So I really believe that every social worker should aim to make at least $100,000, because especially for those that have businesses, you're paying taxes, you have business expenses, depending where you live. Like I live right outside New York City, I'm paying for my own health insurance. 100,000 isn't even that much. So I think it's really important, which another thing we don't really learn is to look at how much do we need to make, look at our budget, make sure that every dollar is assigned for something. How much do we want to put in savings? So I easily believe that they can make $100,000, which leads to then a couple $100,000, which can lead to, $1 million if they're looking at business models. Like, you're not going to make that if you're just doing regular one-to-one social work. You have to think bigger. Me personally, that's what I specialize in, is helping service providers like therapists add in new income streams and really set a strong foundation to their business so that they're able to add in new income streams. So, if you grow bigger, if you get an audience, build a community of people who want to hear from you, then you can absolutely continue to increase your income beyond what you imagined is possible.
I love it. Okay, so talk a little bit about how you went down, how you decided to go down that business path.
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting because I think that it's really starting with what you know. I think people get really overwhelmed. Social workers, we can do so much, we can do so much. And then we really struggle to find our niche because we're like, we can help everybody. That's what we're trained for. But when you try to help everybody, you help nobody because nobody really comes to you or knows that you can help them.
Right.
So, I started with what I knew, which was stress management, helping people who are anxious. I transitioned slowly into adding coaching services to my business, which allowed me to sell things like packages and, things that had different support, like one-to-one sessions and email support. And, I could sell packages that were a few $1,000s because of the level of support that I was giving. So I slowly transitioned into that. And then I discovered other income streams, just like courses and affiliate income and group programs. Group programs are actually my true love.
Really?
Yeah, they are, right. I love them. So, that's how I kind of got started on the path. And I was just doing it for my own business, but slowly other business owners saw what I was doing, heard what I was doing, wanted similar help. So they started coming to me for help. So I actually ended up slowly transitioning into business consulting. So, I think that as long as you start out with something that and start putting yourself out there, even if you're not sure it's the thing you want to do, it'll get you to where you're supposed to be.
I'm so glad you said that. I just published a video on my channel saying the exact same thing, because I think a lot of times I get a lot of social workers who are newbie in the business conversation, and they come in like overwhelmed, like, I don't know what to do, I want to be in business, but I don't know what my thing is, and I could do this, I could do that, I'm not an expert. And I give them the same advice. Look, start where you are. What are you interested in? You just have to get started, right? Started on the path. And I know too that you kind of specialize in like the systemization of it all, right? And helping people build in the systems and the teams that will help to make them successful. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think that again, like we start businesses, that's really one of our main options to make more money because, staying in the agency world or, the nonprofit world can really be a struggle to make money. So what I learned is that we really aren't trained to run businesses, even though it's one of the options that we have to make money and give back to the world and invest in the world. And also have less stress. Like when I didn't have much money as a social worker, I was very stressed. It was hard for me to help people, outside of work or do other good things, donate money, whatever. Now I can do that much more frequently and easily. So basically I, again, we're not trained for business, but I took business courses and things like that. And it just came about again, when people came to me for help with their businesses, I really realized that one of my specialties is in helping them build a strong foundation and to think like a business owner. Like, how much money do I need to make? What actions do I need to make that money? Like, what do I have to do to hit my goals? What kind of systems do I need in place? How can I work efficiently? How can I be more productive? Because you want to make more while working less. How can I start to build an audience and get more visibility so that I can have new income streams?
Okay, excellent. So if you were to talk to my audience, what's one thing that you think that they need to know at this moment? And keep in mind, like I said, a lot of them are new. This conversation is new for them. Most of them are social workers, but not everybody.
I think really start to look at some of the money blocks or money beliefs you have, like from being a social worker or even from your own family stories about making money and things like that, and really start to dive deeper into them and start to clear them up, find the evidence that they're not true.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I agree. I've talked, I think before on the channel that when I started looking into this, Mine came from like family, of course. When you're young,
comes from family.
yeah, exactly. And church, my religion, that kind of thing. And then social work.
Mm-hmm.
And when I realized that social work was part of the culprit, I just felt like betrayed. And I felt like really like duped. Like how this profession that I love so much, that it shaped so much of who I identify as, really has like sold me, at least in this respect, like sold me a bag of rocks. And thus Rich Social Worker was born. Right. So we're going to close out now. Thank you so much for being here. But tell everyone, what does being a rich social worker mean to you?
It really means just being comfortable and, allowing myself to make a bigger difference in the world without being stressed and overwhelmed, and really allowing myself to support more people. I really do believe, money is power, and we need more women. We need people who have that social work background, who know how to help people, who know how to solve problems. We need them to have more money, more power in the world.
I am with you on that, sister. Where can my audience find you?
Yeah, they can find me at NicoleLiloia.com, and I recommend they go to NicoleLiloia.com /TIS. I have a free guide to multiple income streams for therapists, so it would be good for them to go and download that and get some ideas. And I'd also love for them to come find me on Instagram at Nicole Liloia. Send me a DM. Let me know like what money block you realize. Let me know if this was helpful, and let me know how I can help you to overcome it.
Excellent. And I would just add to that, if anyone watching this does reach out to Nicole from this video, just let her know that you saw her here.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being with us, Nicole. All the best. I know you're running a new group now, I think.
Oh, I'm running a workshop. And that's what I mean. Like, I have one spot left in the workshop. I sold 29 spots in the workshop. And that's because I built an audience that allows me. Like, I literally decided I was going to run this workshop like 2 weeks ago, put it together, started selling it last week, and it's basically sold out.
I love it. I love it.
It will sell out a little bit.
Thanks so much, Nicole, for being here. You guys, make sure you check out Nicole's stuff and let me know in the comments what stood out for you in this interview.
So what did you think? Did you like my conversation with Nicole? Let me know in the comments what stood out for you and what your top takeaway was. So here's my announcement. Nicole talked about just, kind of putting together a quick workshop. And so many people from my community have been asking for something very similar. And so if you're not on my mailing list, make sure you get on there ASAP. There is a link in the description. So this week I announced that I will be running a workshop next Friday, the 21st of August. And so you're gonna wanna sign up for that. And we're gonna be talking about the fundamentals of business building. It's gonna be jam-packed with information to help you start and grow your business. So check it out. And thanks again so much for being here. I believe you can dream, be, do, or have anything you want, but it starts with your mindset. So make sure it's a rich one. I'll see you in the next video, guys.